Welcome to the Awakened Healer podcast. I'm your host, Mary Beth Vanderlinden. I'm an ordained Christian minister, international intuitive healer, healer trainer, speaker, and retreat facilitator. On the Awakened Healer podcast, myself and a wide variety of fascinating guests will share our gifts and divine experiences. I won't shy away from diving deep and asking big questions during these conversations. In turn, we will open up and share our deepest thoughts on spirituality, angels, intuitive development, crystals, healing of all kinds, and how bridging ancient wisdom with modern science can bring you to a deep and profound healing in every area of your life. Welcome to another episode of Awakened Healer podcast. I'm your host, Mary Beth Vanderlinden. I've just really had Spirit laying something heavy on my heart, and it's really self-care for healers and empaths. And I know many of you are going through some very stressful life changes. It basically feels like your whole world has just been thrown backwards, maybe flipped upside down. The planet as a whole is so weary and emotionally burnt out. And this is where I felt led by Spirit today to take you. After 10 minutes of hearing the news, you may feel wiped out. Well, some of you may not like what I'm about to say, but the best thing you can do is stop watching it. Really start to notice what is draining you. Certain people, certain things, certain shows, certain music. You have to be willing to walk away and stop the madness. If you know something is not good for you, quit doing it. We've all experienced it. The feeling of emotional fatigue and lack of inspiration. You may be a really happy person, but the world has a way of beating down your door and making you feel sad and alone. It's harder to deal with when you are empathic or you are an empath. And some of you may say, well, what's that? An empath is somebody that's like a sponge. They absorb all the emotions and energy of those around them, or what they see, what they hear, what they experience. Most of you that are drawn to me, I attract healers and empaths because that's who I'm here to serve. And so if you're listening to the show, this is because Spirit has led you to listen to this particular message. Aside from ice cream and chocolate cake, what does a person do about it? What can you do to make yourself feel better? Here are some personal tips for handling stress, chaos, burnout, and emotional overwhelm or emotional overload. And that's what empaths really feel the majority of their life if they haven't been taught how to protect their energy or how to set boundaries. So these are some boundaries that you can easily put into place. Then the first one would be to disconnect. This would definitely be step number one for handling that down to the bone weariness that so many are feeling nowadays. The most important part of rejuvenating your soul is to disconnect. Everyone is constantly connected with everything. News, social media, your nosy mother-in-law, your friends, addiction to your phones, and all this overstimulating, all the tidbits that just cause you to shut down your energy and take on other people's. If you want proof, watch your energy or just be aware. Just be aware the next time you go in a restaurant, the other diners, and mostly this is you too. Watch couples. If one gets up to go to the bathroom, I will bet you my bottom dollar that the remaining person will be checking their cell phone before their date or spouse or whatever clears the chair. The minute they think, oh, I'm going to be free, the first reaction is to reach for the cell phone and get connected again. People can't just be anymore. They have this subconscious drive to be engaged, and it's not healthy. I'm not immune to it either. Recently, I went on an electronic fast. I found myself reaching for the TV remote with no purpose in mind even, and it was automatic. It was a habit. And then I thought, oh, no, I'm not doing that. And so you have to catch yourself because you're so used to just grabbing for those devices. And I found that really disturbing, that I realized, like, I'm doing the same thing. So I'm not pointing fingers at you. I'm pointing fingers right back at myself too. If you're feeling burnt out and weary, disconnect, even if it's for an hour. But it'd be great if it could be for at least a day. So there's a connection that feeds your soul, and that's connect with God, your higher power, your divine wisdom, or the universe, whatever you want to call it. Having a spiritual connection or relationship with something greater than yourself can give you a sense of peace, a feeling of being cared for in this crazy world. It fills you up instead of draining you. Just pause, pray, and listen throughout your day. Ask for guidance and direction, and be open to the answers that you receive. You may not like them, or they may be something that you think, oh, that's just one more thing on my plate. But if it's divine in nature, it's going to come easily. Trade the television for a book, preferably one made of paper. Skip the radio and listen to silence. Listen to nature. Turn your cell phone off, or at least set it to vibrate. It's okay to miss a call. We lived quite nicely, in fact, up until 1973 when the first mobile phone came along. People miss calls all the time. The world did not come to an end, okay? And so make a conscious decision to disconnect from anything that distracts you from you. Seriously, I commit to disconnecting for an entire day. You'll be surprised by what you discover about yourself when you don't have outside forces distracting you. Use that time to get outside. Nature is not right outside everyone's door nowadays. In the countryside or in the forest kind of way. And so you may have to walk a few blocks, or you may have to drive a few miles, or maybe even an hour to get to a beautiful park or a forest or the countryside. And just use your day free of connection to take that drive into the mountains or out to the local park. If you're feeling emotionally drained, take a walk, a real walk. Get into some trees, get your bare feet in the grass, sit in silence, bring a blanket and lay down and just watch the clouds float by like you did as a kid. If you do nothing other than turn off your cell phone and spend an hour hidden in the silence of the forest, you've taken a huge step in rejuvenating your soul. Meditation, I know we recently did a show on meditation, but really commit to meditate at least twice a week if you can. Try to do it daily, even if it's just 5 minutes a day. Those 5 minutes can have a powerful effect when it comes to meditation. And if you're feeling too flustered or scattered to sit in silence, it's even more important that you take those few moments to do it. Since you've gone out in nature, you can easily do a walking meditation. And I cover that also in that show. Just focus on counting your steps. It's that simple. Meditation clears your mind. As the saying goes, control your mind or it will control you. This is so true. Our mind is the physical connection between our body and our higher self. So like any other organ, it needs to be cared for and nurtured. Constant stimulation and noise is very wearing on the mind. Embrace silence. Seek darkness. Meditate and center your mind. You'll find you're more alert and focused if you meditate regularly. Another way to bring yourself back into the body is essential oils. When you're feeling the beginning of emotional burnout or weariness set in, a good foot rub can really help. Citrus Bliss essential oil is my absolute favorite. It takes me to a place deep within myself immediately. I just put a drop or two in my palm and rub them together and kind of cup it in front of my face. As I breathe it in, I feel all the stress just leave my body. But use whatever really connects with you. Use an uplifting essential oil for daytime, maybe orange or lemon, citrus bliss, one of those types of things. And then at bedtime, maybe a lavender. Even a lavender foot bath or foot rub is great in the evening to get you just kind of in your body again and ready for a deep sleep. When you're really feeling worn out, it's nice to have something that does the work for you, and essential oils will do the job. You could also put a few drops in a diffuser and use it while you meditate, adding aroma and purpose to your space or to your room. Other essential oil options that really help bring balance, focus, and that you may find rejuvenating would be peppermint, orange, clary sage is great. If you put that in the diffuser, you're just kind of always clearing your space. That's one of the most relaxing, soothing, and balancing essential oils that there is. And I love that it will clear that negative energy for you. And then the other thing is learn to listen to your body. It will tell you what you need. If you're feeling weary right down to your soul, it's only a matter of time before your body catches up. So begin listening to your body. Stop pushing and pushing and pushing yourself to do more. Stop dropping into bed exhausted, chastising yourself for not answering one more email, not doing one more load of laundry, or for forgetting to make your kids' lunches. You don't want to work yourself to the point that you can feel that fatigue all the way down to the bone. Sometimes you might even feel it in your chest or in your mind. And then you're just pushed yourself too far. And so if you're listening to your body, it'll give you signs and signals to slow down or stop long before you get to that point. And then the other thing is watch for patterns. On those days when you feel as if you're dragging yourself, body and soul, through the day, and you don't take time to rest, did you end up super sick the following day? Did you end up with a migraine, maybe a cold or flu set in? You're always getting messages from your higher self, God, your intuition, whatever you choose to call it. You just have to be silent long enough to listen. I know a lot of you have had that feeling like, oh my gosh, I just can't push myself one more minute. But then you do, and you end up sick. And then you wonder, like, why me? Well, that's why. Don't wait until you get sick. Take the time now. Take an afternoon to read. Call out of work and binge on Hallmark. Skip making dinner. Treat yourself to a meal out where you're waited on and pampered. Everyone needs down days. You need to allow your mind, your body, your spirit time to rejuvenate, to heal from the small things before they become big things. So listen to your body. If you want to do nothing but stay in bed, do it. If you want to spend an entire day reading, do it. One day is not going to derail your life's plans, but it could mean the difference between feeling refreshed tomorrow or waking up sick. So we all are given free will. So you have the free will to choose, but it's like choose wisely, choose what your spirit is calling you to do. Another thing that's overlooked would be boundaries. There are necessary aspects to healthy life, and it'll be different for each person. Someone who works from home, this means not allowing myself to check emails or social media one last time after my established work hours. I used to, just do it like all night long. I only sleep 1 to 3 hours a night. And so I would work like 21 hours a day and everything. I don't do that anymore. I just stop at certain points during the day and take the time I need to feed myself, or to go for a walk, or to go for a drive, or to go down by the water, whatever I'm being called to do. For a mother, it may be limiting laundry to 1 day a week, having an established dinner time with a rule that everyone is present so that you can reconnect with your loved ones. That fills your soul. Or setting aside Friday as your me day. You're not a servant. You may be a mother, but you're also a human being who needs self-care. Establish boundaries and then stick to them. Put it on your calendar. In many cases, this may come in the form of limiting time with other people. We all have that one friend who is in a perpetual crisis. You all went, oh, yeah, yeah. And so tell them Fridays are off limit, or Monday or Sunday or whatever day you choose, and they'll just have to go it alone that day. They can't call you with every crisis that they have. And just listening to that is very draining on your energy. So to get free of it for a day will help build your energy supply back up again. Many of you have relatives that seem to suck the life out of you through the phone line. Make sure to get in your coconut. And if you don't know what your coconut is, it's your energy boundaries and energy protection. You can go on my website, Spirit-Led Healing Institute, under shop, and you'll see the grounding zip up coconut process. Everyone should be doing that every single morning. It'll make a world of difference in the energy that you have. But anyways, make sure you get in your coconut when you see them on your caller ID. You're like, oh, it's Aunt Tilly, oh dear God, and everything. Get in your coconut, or don't answer. Let it go to voicemail. Everything will be fine. But pay attention to what drains you and limit it. You can let it go to the voicemail, and if you're taking a day to yourself, avoid it altogether. And so the other thing is, enjoy darkness. A lot of people are afraid of the dark, or they don't like it, when it is dark. They have their house lit up, from one end to the other, from morning until night. But in the olden days, I'm from the olden days, or so my grandkids tell me, people used to go for an evening stroll. After dinner, you'd see couples or even whole families out strolling, enjoying the peace and the quiet, the stars, the evening air. I don't know whether it's the quiet or the actual darkness, but something about taking a walk at night feels so comforting. Winter's my absolute favorite time to take evening strolls, but of course, you'll want to exercise safety. But if you're in an area where strolling alone is safe, it's really wonderful to just unwind by yourself after a busy day. Just take even a 10-minute, 20-minute walk in the evening and just, looking at the stars, looking at the moon, looking at the trees. I know, what is that called? Orange is the New Black was all the craze, and maybe it still is. I don't know. I heard about it. And, when you're feeling worn to the bone and maybe you're depressed, the last thing you need to do is watch something with a low vibration, whether a TV series or the news or a movie. You want something that's relaxing, that's uplifting, inspiring, comical, something that makes you laugh, that raises your vibration. Surround yourself with things, people, or places that make you happy and that make you feel alive. I mean, we're all here to be alive, but so many, I look around. I went with my grandson, I think it was last weekend, to a mall, a big mall. And I was just watching people, and it was like watching the living dead. There was like no emotion, no inspiration, no joy. They were just moving about like, I don't know if you'd call them zombies or or what, but it was like watching the living dead. They were moving, and yet it was like there was nothing in there. You didn't see life in the people. They were just going to the mall just to go through the motions or to fill up their time. But books, music, TV, movies, people, conversations. If you walk away feeling sad or dark, it's time to change the proverbial channel. Whether that means changing who you hang out with, changing what you're listening to, watching. Right now is a time to really nourish and rebuild. Surround yourself with pleasant, enriching things and avoid the rest of it. There's enough darkness in the world. Why would you bring more of that into your home through the TV or through devices or through people that you're inviting in that really lower the entire vibration of your space, of you? So really pay attention. Remember, it's not selfish to take care of yourself. I hope you'll try some of the ways I've shared with you to bring peace and rest into your life. Nourish your soul, my friend, and I will be back next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me on the Awakened Healer podcast. Did you enjoy the show? If yes, please subscribe and give me 5 on a review, that is, on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a review or your comments and let me know what you loved or would love to learn about on future shows. We all need encouragement, including me. Find out more information on my website at spiritledhealinginstitute.com. Be blessed, and remember, if you're good with you and good with God, you're good.